What's up, guys? Welcome to Mountain Biking 915. Hope you're having a great day today. On this day, I just came for a little ride, and I realized I haven't really gone over like the specs and all that on the mountain bike that I use. So I kind of want to go over the some of the specs and the things that I've done to my mountain bike, and talk over price and all that, and what are the plans with this mountain bike and what I plan on doing next. I'm gonna go ahead and just go over this bike real quick, and hope you like this video, guys. So as you see, this is my I think it's a 2019 GT Pantera mountain bike. I bought this bike at Dick's Sporting Goods. Before I had this bike, I had two Walmart bikes. That's when I barely started getting into mountain biking. And I went to Walmart and I bought a Genesis. I don't know if you've had a Genesis mountain bike before, but that bike was honestly not very good. And I ended up returning it. I think something broke from the chain and a whole bunch of stuff started happening to it. So I returned it for another Genesis that I saw on Walmart as well, on their website. And I ended up going with that one. And in pictures and all that, it looked like a pretty legit, pretty decent mountain bike. And have in mind, at this point, I didn't have no clue. I was a birdie getting into mountain biking, and I didn't know, much about mountain bikes. So I ended up going with it, but I had, bad problems with that bike as well, and I ended up returning that bike as well. So from my point of view, the Genesis bikes that I had, they weren't very good. And maybe there's some other Genesis bikes that are better, but the two that I owned were not very good at all. So I ended up returning them. So I went ahead after I bought those two Genesis bikes. At the same time, my wife started mountain biking with me, so we bought her a Schwinn from Walmart as well. I don't know the exact model, but it's a Schwinn, and that bike came out pretty good. She hasn't mountain biked in a long time, but that bike holds its own, and it's pretty good. It's up to this day. To this day, it's still there in the garage, but it's a very good bike. And so she has her mountain bike, and after my two mountain bikes that I had bought, were not good, I ended up, trying to go online and search up mountain bikes for, under $700. And at this point, this is like when the pandemic started, and we were kind of like not allowed, lockdown, and we couldn't go out as much. Many stores started closing and all that started happening. So me and my wife were like, well, let's just go ahead and start mountain biking a little bit. And, just for us to get out, me and you, get out and start just riding around the neighborhood. And I looked online, all the bikes, I searched Trek, I searched Giant, all those top big brands. And they didn't have nothing, in stock. They didn't have nothing at the moment. And I think if I would have ordered a mountain bike, I wouldn't have got it for like 5-6 months. And I just wanted something now, for that moment, at that moment. And I went into Dick's, and I started searching their mountain bikes, and I saw a few mountain bikes there. I think I saw the GT Aggressor Pro, and that's the one that kind of caught my attention. And I started going, looking into the reviews and all that, and the specs, and even I searched up some videos on YouTube. And they were all pretty good. Everyone said that was a pretty good bike to begin with. So I went to Dick's, checked out the bikes, and they didn't have. I think they had some there. They had one GT Aggressor, and it was pretty nice. But then when I was walking out, I saw one of the bike techs, one of the workers there, he was working on a mountain bike, and it was this bike here, not this exact bike, but it was this same model, a GT Pantera. And I saw the big wheels, the big tires, and the color, and I'm like, wow, that's a nice mountain bike. And I went ahead and bought, I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, where can I buy this exact model? And he's like, well, you gotta go on the website, go online, search Dick's sportinggoods.com, etc. And then that'll take you to all the mountain bikes that we have. And I went, and I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I saw this mountain bike, I fell in love with it. Everything about it. And I went online, and I think at that time the price was around $650 plus tax. And I'm like, for someone who's barely starting getting into mountain biking, $650 is a lot of money. And I've never thought in my whole life I would ever spend that much money on a mountain bike. And $300 when I paid for the Genesis that I bought, it was like $200, and that was already like, oh man, mind blowing, like too much money to spend at that moment. And $650 was a huge jump. And but I went ahead and I bought this bike, and I think like in 2 weeks it arrived. It got shipped to my mom's house, but they actually sent it to the wrong direction. So I was tracking it, and they said, okay, your bike has arrived, it's already been delivered. So I was calling up my mom and my brother, and I was telling them, hey, can you check if my bike's outside? They said they left it by the garage. And they were on the lookout, and they didn't see nothing. And I was like, oh man, hopefully they didn't send it to the wrong direction. So what my mom and my brother did is that they got into their cars, and then they into the car, and they rode down the street, and they saw a box that said GT on it at someone else's house. And they got off, and as soon as they got off, the guy who lived there at that home came and said, were you looking for a mountain bike? Or and my mom's like, yeah, my son just bought a mountain bike, and I think this is it. So, and they're like, oh yeah. So the guy was very cool about it. He's like, yeah, here you go. I guess they sent it to the wrong direction, but about that, thank God I got my mountain bike. Now this bike came with 27.5 by 2.8 tires, and I can't remember the exact brand of those tires, but it was 27.5 by 2.8, which is bigger than what I have on here now. Right now I have some Maxxis, and these are the Maxxis, what is it? It's on the other side. So I'm sorry, I sometimes forget. Maxxis, right here. Minions, DHFs. Maxxis Minion DHFs. This is 27.5 by 2.5. And they came with 27.5 by 2.8, which is a bigger tire, a wider tire. And I thought it felt pretty good, but I decided to go with a little bit of smaller tire, and these have been very good tires. I recommend them. They're the Minions DHFs, and I even ran into some mountain bikers on the trails, and one of them who had like a full suspension mountain bike was like, I used to have those tires on my mountain bike. They're very good. I recommend them. They have a lot of grip. You're gonna like them. You're gonna enjoy them. And honestly, they've been very good tires. I really recommend the Maxxis Minions DHFs. I have that the same for front and the back. So that's one of the upgrades I've done. A few other upgrades that I've done to this bike is I bought these pedals here, and I bought these on Amazon for I think like $33, and they're Alstons. And what I was trying to do here is trying to match these pedals with the stem that I bought. And these pedals are very good. I always like to go before I purchase something. I like to read the reviews and search up videos on them to see how they hold up. And I am very content, very happy with these pedals. I love these pedals. They're very, very, very light. They're very light pedals. They got the same very light pedals. Try and reach. Very light pedals, and It wasn't really the color I was hoping it was. I thought, this is more of an orange pedal, still gold, but kind of orange in it, and this one is just gold. So I thought it was gonna be the exact same color, but it's a little bit off. But you can't really tell unless you look up very close. Now this stem that I bought is also like I would say like a $15 stem that I purchased also on Amazon, and it's a pretty good stem. I don't know what you guys think about these kind of stems, but yeah, I like it. Little upgrades here and there, trying to stay, in the budget, not spend too much money. Just do a few little upgrades. I also upgraded grips. These had the GT grips before, and I purchased these also on Amazon. I guess everything I buy is on Amazon, but these were like, I would say like $15 as well, and these are Vans. I know you can see it, they're Vans grips, but they're very grippy. I love them. Good upgrade. I went ahead and purchased the saddle. This is a Touring G100. Touring G100 saddle, which I was trying to look for a good saddle that would go with the color of the grips. And yeah, so far it holds up pretty good, pretty comfortable. Not too hard, because the one that originally comes with the bike, it's pretty hard, so I had to change that real quick. That's that. Pedals, grips, stem, saddle. I bought tires. Okay, tires, already talked about that. These, I don't know what you guys think about these mud guards, but normally the rest of the guys that I see on the trails, or even in our little mountain bike crew, right, they only have one mud guard in the front, but I kind of like these. I like the look. It makes it look a little bit more aggressive, and I like it. I always like to be, I don't know about you guys, but I like to be a little bit different, and kind of stand out in a way and have something that you don't normally see. And yeah, this bike, I think it weighs around 32 to 35 pounds. It is the heaviest bike that we have in our mountain bike crew. My uncle, as I showed you in the previous video, he has the GT Avalanche, and that's a pretty light bike. It's a pretty nice bike. My dad and my brother have the GT Aggressor Pros, which they're also lighter than this bike. And my mom has a Laguna, and my other cousin has an Aggressor Pro as well. I got the heaviest bike in the crew, and yeah, it's pretty heavy, but I like it. It gets the job done. When I do move on or upgrade mountain bikes, when I get my full suspension bike, I will get something that's a little bit lighter. But it's pretty good. I think that's all I've really done to it. I put this cup holder here, which is black, to go with the GT emblem, the GT sticker, and I think that's basically it. What am I gonna do next to this bike? I'm not sure. I think I pretty much done what you can do to a bike. Also this bike, these tires didn't come tubeless, but we did make them tubeless. So I do have tubeless tires already, and that's basically it. I am gonna post some videos coming up in search of my next mountain bike. I do want to make that jump to full suspension, and but I'm trying not to spend too much money. I don't want to spend $4,000 on a full suspension mountain bike. Not yet. For the riding that we do, I still don't want to spend that much money. I'm gonna try and stay in under $2,000. From $1,500 to $2,000. I think that's what I want to spend for a full suspension mountain bike. I don't know if I'm gonna find a mountain bike for that price. I'm gonna go to some of the local bike stores around here, my area, to see what they got. But I'm trying to, if you know of any mountain bike under 1,500, under 2,000, please let me know in the comments, so I can go ahead and check them out. I think I've seen a Giant Stance, which is a pretty good mountain bike. I want to stay in the GT family. I like GTs, and you hardly don't see GT mountain bikes as much, at least here in El Paso. You don't see them much around in the trails. You see Treks, you see Giants, You know, you see all those mountain bikes, but you don't really see people riding GT full suspension mountain bikes. And I think that would be nice if, you know, but I think if that would be nice if I could stay in the GT family and upgrade to a GT full suspension mountain bike. I was checking seeing one that's around 2,300 or 2,000, around that price range. So that's probably something that I'll be looking into. I mean, I would love to stay in the GT family to kind of represent GT, you know, bikes here in El Paso, and since the rest of the guys have GTs as well. And but yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for this video, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.